Good afternoon, everyone. It is Monday, March the 2nd, 2020. It is currently 1:38 p.m. Central Time. Well, because it's March the 2nd, I guess I should begin this live broadcast by saying Happy Texas Independence Day. Yes, today is the day, if we go back in history, that Texas declared its independence from Mexico. So I know for the rest of you who don't live in Texas, you don't really care. Whenever I tell people who don't live in Texas, hey, today is Texas Independence Day. Every March the 2nd, when I tell people who don't live in Texas that it's Texas Independence Day, they're like, do we care? I'm like, you should care, but they really don't care. But the reason I always tell everyone it's Texas Independence Day is because, well, Texas Independence Day is also my birthday. So thank you to those who remembered and told me happy birthday. I really appreciate that. I'd like to thank those at church yesterday who gave me a gift. I really appreciate that as well. So yes, it's Texas Independence Day. Yes, it's my birthday. So this should be a day where I should be in a good mood, right? This should be a day where I'm happy, right? I've got nothing but wonderful things to say, but that's not the case because I started my day by receiving an email from a Christian ministry that ruined my day, that made me very upset, that bothered me greatly. And we're going to talk about that, but let's set this up this way. I want you to just think about this. If you're the average person, right? It doesn't matter if you're a Christian, if you're not a Christian. If you're the average person living anywhere in the world right now, you know that there is a subject that is being talked about everywhere and that is causing a lot of concern. At least, I mean, maybe for some people it may be maybe they're going too far and it's getting close to a panic. Maybe others are ignoring it, but I think for the majority of people, they're like, wait, what is going on here? What is going on here? And we all know what that is. But before I tell you, let's do this. Let's just listen. Let's listen to what the news is talking about today, right? Because the news is talking about this thing that is causing a lot of concern. And I know many of you are already saying it out loud. You know what I'm talking about, but let's listen to the news talk about it and just think about how this is impacting people. Just listen to this news report and just think about how the average person is hearing this and what they're thinking and what they could be feeling. And then we'll come back and we'll look at how at least one Christian ministry is using, all of this concern. Let's listen.
There's been a sharp rise in the number of coronavirus cases in Iran. Officials say they've confirmed more than 500 new cases in just one day. The official number of deaths is more than 60, including that of Mohammad Mirmohammadi, who had a seat on the Expediency Council, a body that mediates between Iran's parliament and its supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. The health authorities in the country say thousands of officials will now go door to door testing for victims of the virus. As Rana Rahimpour of BBC Persian told me, the new testing is partly why the official number of infections has gone up.
It seems that they have received some test kits, but it's important to remember that this is just the official number. The official number of confirmed cases, the cases are 1,500. The official number is 66 dead. But there are very few people in Iran who believe these numbers are accurate, including the MP from the city of Rasht in north of Iran. He says that the situation in his city is very serious. He says that all the hospitals are full. They can no longer cope. And he says that these numbers sound more like a joke. The real numbers are probably much higher.
So how are the authorities coping? I mean, are they putting the cities locked down into quarantine, say?
There have been no official lockdowns yet. They have advised people to stay inside, don't get out. They have shut down the schools and universities, and they have extended that to the end of the week. But there are no official lockdowns as such, and that is the problem. Many say that the people are travelling around the world, and at the moment moment, we have 27 provinces that have reported confirmed cases, and Iran has only 31 provinces.
So it's all over the country?
It's almost all over the country. So 3 more provinces, and it will be the entire country.
And it's reached the highest echelons of power, hasn't it, with this advisor dying?
Exactly. Mohammad Mir Mohammadi was a member of the Expediency Council. He was 71 years old. The Expediency Council gives advice to the supreme leader, and he mediates between different factions of power in Iran. He's got it from his mother, who has also passed away. But he's not the only official. Yesterday we said that we found out that at least 20 members of the parliament have tested positive, and we have a number of deaths as well.
Do we know if the health authorities there are interacting with health authorities around the rest of the world? Because it is a pretty closed society.
It is a closed society. I understand that they are in contact with WHO and with the Chinese authorities. But Iran said that Iran refused any help from the United States. They say that we are not convinced that the Americans have good intention in the offer to help. But they haven't officially asked for help. They haven't announced the fact that they are unable to cope with the severity of the situation.
Rana Rahimpour. So far, no country outside China has as many official cases of the new coronavirus as South Korea, where more than 400 people have been diagnosed. Now, Lee Man-hee, the leader of the religious sect, whose members account for many of the cases, has begged the nation for forgiveness in a televised news conference. Please forgive us, he said. We will do as much as we can to help the government. Our correspondent in Seoul, Laura Bicker, told me more about the dramatic apology.
The media were crowded round him as he was about to give his statement, but it was hard to hear him because his voice was shaking. And above it all were these cries through loudspeakers from protesters who are angry and believe this is a cult. And as he began, he started to say that he was going to apologise, and then he stepped away from his wooden desk onto the concrete, knelt down, and then bowed full forehead to the concrete with his arms in front of him. He stayed there for what seemed like several seconds. He got up and started speaking again with a fulsome apology. And then he did it again. He bowed twice, again, getting down on the concrete. This is an 88-year-old man in a grey suit. He had a very fancy gold watch on, and he got down once again in front of the cameras, and all you could hear was an astonished media. In fact, one reporter was taking no chances because, remember, this sect is linked to half of this country's coronavirus cases, and one reporter was head to toe in full white protective gear standing in front of the leader. And I think many people just could not believe that this is the man that 230,000 people believe is a messiah. They believe that he will not die. And here he was giving a fulsome apology. Now, the reason he's there giving this apology is because health officials have accused the sect leaders of failing to cooperate. Last night, as my team and I were compiling news, we got another extraordinary twist from Seoul City government, who have asked prosecutors to file charges against the sect. One of the charges is for murder. I think when it comes to the church themselves, they say they're fully cooperating with authorities, that they've handed over a list. However, I have to tell you this, 4,000 members have still not been found or not been reached. And that means that the police now have been given special powers to locate them using the GPS on their phones.
People in the capital where you are being urged to work from home, aren't they? What's that like? I mean, are you working from home?
Well, yes, because I've been to Daegu. I've been to one of the worst affected areas and I spent 4 days there. So we are being very careful, very cautious and working from home anyway. But a number of people right around the city are already working from home, but more people will try. All schools have now been told to remain closed for another 3 weeks, which is highly unusual in very education-centric South Korea. I have to tell you, Val, life does not feel very normal in any way. It's not like you're going to gather with your friends. Everybody's kind of thinking, right, can we gather? Can we not? Can we go out for dinner? Can we not? Should we?
Laura Bicker in Seoul in South Korea. As Israelis go to the polls, the country's president...
Now that just gives you an idea of some of the reporting. You've got all the situation in Iran, you got the situation in South Korea, and if you've been paying attention, now we've got a developing situation with the coronavirus. Obviously, the coronavirus is the issue that everyone's talking about. I mean, you just heard it talked about there in all of those reports. You've got the religious sect in South Korea. You got, the leader who they think is the Messiah and he can't die. You got that whole situation and that sect being, the people who are most affected and being blamed and possible being, charges of murder being filed against them. I mean, the story continues to develop, but it raises all kinds of concerns and worry. And now here in the United States of America, well, the coronavirus is present. It's spreading in different places. We've had 2 deaths. There is concern. There is concern in the United States of America. So it doesn't matter if you live in Iran. It doesn't matter if you live in Korea. It doesn't matter if you live in China. They didn't even report on the situation in Italy. If we could talk about what's going on in Italy, all over the world, people are talking and people are concerned with the coronavirus. They have questions. Over the weekend, the BBC did a 47-minute podcast just about the coronavirus, just answering questions. There are all kinds of podcasts right now being produced about the coronavirus, giving advice. What should you do? Answering your questions. What precautions should you take? I saw video from Brooklyn, in New York, where there were long lines of people trying to get into grocery stores to buy, to stockpile as many, things that they may need because there is concern. There are rumors that an emergency declaration is going to come down from President Trump at some point. There's rumors, there's conspiracies, there's a religious sect in the middle of it. There are government officials in Iran who have the coronavirus. The Pope has been sick. We don't know. They say it's a cold. He's canceled, events, I think for 3 days, maybe 4 days now. I mean, there's just so much discussion about this. So that means the average person, just think about this. The average person is probably at least a little concerned. They have questions and they want answers and they want information. And so the Christian thing to do, obviously, would be to do everything we can to help people, inform people, right? You would not see, as Christians, we should not see this, oh, look, this coronavirus thing, it's all over the place. Everyone's concerned about it. This would be the perfect opportunity to use it to sell a book. This would be the perfect opportunity to use it to get some money. This would be the perfect opportunity to sell things, to get people to give us money. You think that Christians would say, no, this is not the perfect opportunity to use this concern, this fear, this anxiety, this worry as an opportunity for us to profit, an opportunity for us to gain. You think we would say this is an opportunity for us to try to serve people, help people, calm fears, calm anxieties. But, well, at least for one ministry, I guess they felt that today was the day to send out an email using the coronavirus to get you to purchase their books. Now, they're not calling it a purchase. I mean, you can request your copy, but you have to give them money in order to get your copy of the book. So, yeah. And of course, you're going to give them all your information as well so that they can put you on a mailing list where they can ask you for more money in the future. Yeah, the whole thing to me is a scam, but that's just my opinion. Let me just share with you what happened early this morning. I woke up. I'm going to lean over and grab my iPad. Early this morning, I woke up. I checked my email. And this is the first email in my inbox. Here was the subject line. The deadly coronavirus. Signs of the last days. The deadly coronavirus. Signs of the last days. Now, at first, I didn't realize this was from a Christian ministry. I thought maybe someone was just sending me this, almost like asking a question. Hey, the deadly coronavirus, is this a sign of the last days? And I was like, oh, okay, let me jump on this and try to answer their question and try to alleviate any concerns and fears and try to help them with this. But no. It wasn't from a listener asking questions. It was from a Christian ministry. Now, please note, they describe it as the deadly coronavirus to definitely buy into that narrative of concern and worry and fear. And then signs of the last days, ? Okay, now, maybe what they're going to do is they're sending out an email to answer the question. Hey, I know all of you right now are concerned about the deadly coronavirus. I know you're concerned. Let me give you an answer about how this possibly relates to the last days, or if it doesn't relate to the last days. That would be, okay, you could possibly do that. But no. This is, you open the email and look what you find. The deadly coronavirus, signs of the last days. You open the email, there's a picture of a book. Answers to Questions About Living in the Last Days by Dr. David Jeremiah. And no, I don't care if anyone gets offended that I named his name. He sent the email out to everyone on their mailing list. I don't even know how I ended up on their mailing list. Okay. But, I get their email. So if you're going to send it out to everyone, then you're not ashamed of it. Okay. So you think this is a great idea during a time where the news is going crazy. There's all kinds of concerns. There's all kinds of worry that this is the time to say, hey, let's send out an email with the subject line, deadly coronavirus. That will get their attention. Signs of the last days. That will get that will get their attention. And let's do this. Let's use it as an opportunity to sell a book. That doesn't come across as worldly, greedy, fleshly. But here, so the name of the book, I'm having a hard time talking. Answer to Questions About Living in the Last Days. Dr. Jeremiah answers your questions about living in the last days. Request your resource. Now, if you we'll talk about how you request your resource. So, you can tap on that to request your resource, and we'll talk about that screen in a minute. But let's read what they have actually in the email. Dear Trevor, isn't that cool how they're going to personalize each email that you get? Isn't that so clever? Okay. Scan the global horizon today, and you see Bible prophecy unfolding all around us. The deadly coronavirus causing global emergency, fear, and panic. More than 78,000 people in China are infected and over 2,800 have died. The coronavirus has already spread to 50 countries since its first appearance just 2 months ago. It may soon be labeled a pandemic. Now I think it's over 60 countries now, 60, 61, 62, the last count. Okay, but that's all right because they had to put this email together first and then set the time for them to send it out to everyone. All right, so they're a little behind, but that's okay because it continues to spread and it continues to develop, and that's why people's concern continues to increase. The disease is just one example of how we see end times prophecy playing out in our times. Now let's stop right here. I just want to go ahead and all right, let's just go along with the email and then I'll go to what I want to say. In fact, we are seeing more end times prophecy than any other generation in human history. During these challenging days, find out what the Bible has to say about the prophetic times in my new book, Answers to Questions About Living in the Last Days. Right? Now, they're not going to really provide you any answers. They're not going to provide you any Bible verses. They're just saying, hey, during these challenging days, hey, you got this coronavirus, you're worried about it? Hey, request my book. Get my book. Get my book. This is what you need. You need his book. And then again, they got another little tab here for request your book. And underneath that, they're going to give us some more information. Yes, for multitudes, these are uncertain times of stress, confusion, and fear. But when you and I look to the Word of God, we find a different type of picture. We see that God is in control. We can follow the signs happening before our very eyes and connect the dots of current events to biblical predictions about the last days. In my new book, you'll have practical biblical answers to questions like, how should I respond to people who are hostile to the gospel? What signs of the last days are being fulfilled in our world today? How can I maintain a calm spirit in times of trouble? Is there any event that would preclude Christ's soon return? And dozens more. This is the perfect resource for anyone seeking hope and courage in these difficult days. You can also request both this latest book and my previous book, Answers to Questions About Prophecy. All right. Or our complete questions and answers collection, 5 books in all to help you understand and share God's word more clearly than ever before. Prophetic events are moving rapidly. We can almost hear the countdown. We're living in prophetic times and seeing prophecy fulfilled before our eyes. It's time to look up, for our redemption draws near. Let's reach out to every possible unsaved soul as quickly and faithfully as we can. Thank you so much for partnering with Turning Point. God bless you, David Jeremiah. All right. Wow. So he gives me an entire email to say, hey, yes, these are troubling times. These are times filled with stress and anxiety and concern. But we need answers and we need to turn to God's word. Now, he's not going to send out an email providing any answers. No. He wants me to get his books because that's where he put the answers, right? He couldn't, I don't know. Let me see if he could do something. Could he send out a link saying that at 2:00 in the afternoon, he's going to go live on the internet to provide biblical answers to this time of great concern in regards to the coronavirus and things happening in our world, and do so for free? Well, oh, wait. No, he can't do. Oh, yeah, I can go live on the air. I can go live on the air with little small church in the middle of nowhere with no money, but David Jeremiah with the Turning Point Ministry, who has a budget of who we can probably look up tax returns and probably find out how much their budget is. They can't just go live and say, hey, I know you're concerned about the coronavirus. I know it's a time of great anxiety. Let me go live and alleviate. No. He's not going to alleviate anything. What he wants to do is use your fear and concern for you to get his book. Then maybe you can have some answers and have your concerns, lessened. That is pure, greedy, fleshly, worldly sales tactic. That doesn't seem anything like Christianity. But let's go through this email. If I go to these request your resources, all right, if you hit request your resources, you come up to this page with all the resources, right? Okay. If you give them $100, oh man, I'm going to lose my temper. If you give them $100, you can get the complete questions and answers collection. Oh, you can get all your questions answered for the low price of $100. Aren't you so glad that David Jeremiah is concerned about your concern? Aren't you so glad that David Jeremiah wants to alleviate your concerns and fears about what's happening in the world and this deadly coronavirus? And is it a sign of the last days and what you need to know? And is Jesus about to come back? And how is this fulfilling biblical prophecy? Aren't you so glad that he wants to alleviate all of those concerns for the low price of $100? Okay, for $50 or more, you can get the 2 books, Answers to Questions About Living in the Last Days, Answers to Questions About Prophecy. All right, so for $50 or more, you can get those 2 books. Now, just the book, Answers to Questions About Living in the Last Days, to be fair, you can give this book with a gift of any amount. All right. But if you request your book, if you tap on the tab, the first thing that shows up is, it says with a gift of any amount, $40, $50. Now there is a place there next to it that you can put in a dollar amount. Now I haven't tried. It would be interesting to see if you could get away with like 50 cents, 25 cents, 1 penny. I haven't tried it yet. I may try and see if I can get the book for 1 penny. But I just want you to think about this. That here's a Christian ministry that during a time where the news is, one report after another report. I mean, if you could see a screenshot of my iPad right now and all the podcast notifications that I am receiving from news agencies everywhere, coronavirus. And I've even heard some of these news reports start off going, look, we could literally take an hour just to talk about all the news regarding the coronavirus, but we have to cover other news as well. There is concern. And when a Christian ministry uses that concern for them to push a book, for them to, and again, just please note, even if you say, well, that one book they'll give you for a gift of any amount, don't view that as being some great work of charity, because you know what they're going to get when you sign up for that book? They're going to get your name, your phone number, your address. They're going to get all your personal information, and they're going to use that to contact you over and over and over again, trying to sell their products and trying to give them donations and money. It's a scam. It's an absolute scam. If he wants to just give that book for free, it's, easy. He can get that book in a PDF form, connect that into a PDF file, connect that PDF file to the email and send it out to everyone for free. They don't get anything. They don't get your name. They don't get your address. They don't get your phone number. The whole thing is a scam. And I know I'm going to offend some Christians, but I'm sick of this kind of thing. People have concerns and you're going to use it for your benefit. You're doing it for your benefit, for your selfish gain. You're not putting the concerns of other people before yourself. You're putting your ministry before other people. And I want to make this very clear. Oh, we've got the coronavirus is going around. This is a sign of biblical prophecy. Do you know? This is a sign of biblical prophecy. I'm not even finishing my sentences right now because I'm getting so angry. Go back and study human history. Do you know how many pandemics have spread across the world at different times, killing millions and millions and millions of people? Where they say, oh, this is it. This is the sign this is a fulfillment of biblical prophecy. We're getting close. These things have been going on planet Earth forever. Viruses develop, viruses spread, people die. In many cases, they come up with a vaccine, some way to stop it, to slow it down. They use that, and then we get some relief. And then, next thing you know, there's a new virus. There's a new medical concern. There's a new issue. These things have been going on forever. All right. Every time some Christian ministry turns around going, look, all the signs are being fulfilled. All the signs are being fulfilled. They've been saying that over and over and over. And it leads people to great concern, thinking, this is it. This is it. Let me make it very clear. These things have happened, are happening, and will continue to happen. There have been wars. There have been earthquakes. There have been storms. There have been disease. There has been famine. There has been plague. There has been all of these things on a never-ending repeat cycle, because we live in a fallen world. And again, he didn't even provide Bible passages to even connect the coronavirus to fulfilled biblical prophecy. He didn't even provide us one, not even one in an email. He couldn't even give you, here's the list of scriptures that are relevant to the coronavirus. He didn't even provide one, so I can't even critique what he would even try to use. But I guarantee you, some of the passages he would use, you go look at them carefully. Look at them in context. Some of those passages, which is typically used in Matthew and Luke, are the context there are Jesus and the disciples coming out of the temple. They look at all the buildings, and Jesus tells them this temple is going to be brought down. There's not going to be one stone left on top of the other. It's going to be destroyed. The disciples are like, wait, what? The temple's going to be destroyed? When is this going to happen? They connect it with the end of the world. Jesus begins to describe some of the signs before this happens. And please note, that is referring to the destruction of that temple in 70 AD. So the signs that he talks about, wars, rumors of war, all of those things that you're so familiar with that pastors rip out of their context, we first apply it to 70 AD. Now, yes, I do agree that in those passages, there seems to be a jump from 70 AD to possible future events. But let's just remind ourselves, some of the things that are listed there have been going on nonstop throughout human history. So we've got to be careful in how we approach this. But let me make it very clear. If 1,000% certainty, now I want to make this very clear. If you're a pastor and you are 1,000% certain that the coronavirus and a couple of other events that are currently going on are absolute proofs that Jesus are about to return, then guess what you do? You grab a microphone like I have, for this microphone is like $100, I think, $100 microphone. Over here's a laptop, a couple $100 for the laptop. You get an internet connection, which I'm sure most ministries already have those. You can sign up for Spreaker or other services where you can go live or you can record. You hit the record or go live button and you tell everyone all the information that you have. And you give it to them for free because you would be concerned that that Christ is going to come back and people are not going to be ready. You wouldn't be waiting for them to request a copy of the book and then have to wait 2 or 3 weeks for the book to be delivered. I mean, even if I request a copy of that book, I wonder how fast the book is going to get here. I think they have an option where you can pay extra to get the book expedited, but you're still going to be waiting, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days for the book to arrive. Then you've got to open the book and then start reading to find the relevant information about how the coronavirus is connected to biblical prophecy. Yeah, you're not concerned about people when you do that. You're not concerned at all. If you're really concerned for people, you would be on the air right now, going live, telling people every pertinent information they need. I'm sorry, Dr. David Jeremiah, you don't care about anybody. You care about compiling a big mailing list and getting your book and selling your book and books. To get 2 books, $50 or more. To get the whole set, $100 or more. Give me a break. And this supposedly contains information that we need to calm our fears and anxieties about how to live in the last days. This is what it reminded me of. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 1. The elders which are among you I exhort, who am also an elder and a witness of the sufferings of Christ, and also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed. This is 1 Peter chapter 5, that's verse 1. So Peter, he wants to exhort the elders. He wants them to know something, right? Look what he tells the elders, verse 2. Feed the flock. Feed the flock of God which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, money. Okay, not for filthy lucre or that's the King James word, or money, but of a ready mind. You know what elders and Christians should be doing? Feeding the flock of God, not for money. Feeding the flock of God. Now, I'm not saying, and clearly we know the Bible clearly says that a pastor can be paid. I understand that can be taken care of, but you feed the flock. David Jeremiah is a pastor of a large church. If their ministry cannot support itself, then why is he continuing with his internet and radio and TV ministry? If the church can't take care of it, why are you using everyone else? And the last thing you want to do is, if there's a situation, hey, there's this deadly virus and it's connected to Bible prophecy. The last thing you want to do is use that as an opportunity to gain some money. If you've got that information, you would give it to everyone for free. Everyone for free. Now, I got no problem saying, hey, get the book for free. Here's the information for free. If you want to send a donation in, please do so. I have no problem if they want to say, if you want to help support this work, please do so. Here's how that's perfectly okay. But you give the information to people for free. Don't allow all the Christian prophecy nonsense to exploit the coronavirus scare. Do not allow Christians to exploit it. Do not allow Christians to exploit it, to use it to scare people, to use it to manipulate people, to use it to push their products. Don't allow that to happen, and don't allow other Christians to be deceived by that nonsense. If they've got questions, find a pastor who will answer the questions for free. Okay. Don't find those ministries to say, yo, we've got all the answers and all you need to do is get my book. You just sent an email out. Just please note, I don't know how many people are on their mailing list. They just sent an email out. Why didn't they send an email out with all the pertinent information? Right? I mean, the whole point of that email was to use the coronavirus. Why not just sit down and write an entire email? He could have recorded audio, could have placed on some links to audio clips. He could have done video. He could have done an entire broadcast. He could have created a PDF file with all pertinent Bible verses, how it connects, and then giving examples of what Christians should be prepared to do and what they should do. He could have sent all that information out for free. But no. Hey, crazy things are happening. This is a deadly virus. It's spreading. Hey, this is a sign of biblical prophecy. Contact me and get my book, and then you can have the answers. Yeah, it's a scam. It's a scam. And we are to feed the flock. Not for filthy lucre. We don't do it for money. We feed the flock because it's our responsibility. Don't allow yourself to be deceived by this, and don't allow others. And I'm going to say the name again, Dr. David Jeremiah, the Turning Point Ministry. All right. Now, I believe he's a good Bible teacher at times. I have benefited from some of his sermons. I even have some of his books in my closet. In fact, I wish I could get to the closet really quick. I've got a book of his. And it was, this is one of those books that he was warning everyone. He was telling everyone an economic crisis is coming. The whole economy is going to collapse. And he tried to argue that it was prophesied in the Bible and it was about to happen. I've got the book in my closet. Guess what? He sent that book. In that book, he tries to argue that the economy is going to collapse. It's a sign of the times. Guess what? It did not happen. It did not happen. You look at some of the things that's happened in the economy over the last couple of years, unemployment down. Now, right now, the stock market is crashing like crazy because of the coronavirus. Okay, but we'll say I think it rebounded a little bit today. But we've had some very good economic news. So all of his predictions did not, he was wrong then, but here we go. Now he's going to jump back on that bandwagon because that's what they do. They make predictions. They don't come about. They just press on. New book, new material. Give me your money. 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 And I know that you can go online and reach people around the world for free without charging anyone a cent. I've been doing it forever. Microphones, talking, putting the message out there. Now, yes, it seems the ministries that charge people are the ones that everyone listens to and are the ones everyone supports. And it seems the ones that don't charge and are free are the ones that get ignored. And I don't understand why that happens. Don't continue to promote a system where the word of God is being used as a product to be sold. I mean, don't get me back on the Christian conference thing where people pay $200 to hear the word of God preached. It's insane that Christians fall for this nonsense. All right, I'll stop right there. I just had to bring this to everyone's attention. It's bothered me all day, and this was an opportunity I could hit the go live button. So there you have it. If you need to see the email, you don't believe me, contact me at newsif@yahoo.com, newsif@yahoo.com. That's newsif@yahoo.com. And I will be more than happy to forward the email to you intact, no editing, and then you can look at it as yourself. Now, to be fair, I want to make sure I emphasize this. It seems that the one book, you can request that book for any amount. It appears. I don't know how. If you can put 1 penny and get the book, I don't know if it would allow you. You do have to pay, I think, for shipping and handling. But so I will give them credit for that. But again, if the true intention was to get that information into everyone's hands for basically free, they could put the book in a PDF file and send it to all the people on the email list for free. And if you're going to use the coronavirus, the email could have answered all the questions about the coronavirus in one email, and I wouldn't even need to get the book. And everyone would have had the information as early as this morning instead of waiting for a book to arrive. So the whole thing is a sham. The whole thing is a sham, and I don't care. Because again, I know, being a pastor of a small little church with no money, that we, right here, microphone, talking to people around the world, hello, hello, hello. What do you need an answer about? Okay. What do you need a biblical answer? Just send me your answer. Send me your question. I'll go live on the air and give you the answer for free. And guess what? I won't charge you any money. I don't need your name, phone number, or email address. I don't need anything. Just give me your, well, I guess if you email me, I'll have your email address. You don't even have to put your name in it. Create a fake email. Send me the question. I'll go live and answer it. I don't need your money. I don't want your money. I don't need anything from you. I just want to help you have the answer and understand the scriptures in a more correct way. That's the way it should be done. Now, I need my church, obviously, to support me. Yes. And obviously, if our church can't afford other ministry opportunities, then we can't take them. I mean, we're limited in things we could do. We are limited. I understand that. But we don't want to charge people for things. If people want to support, then that's up to them. But we shouldn't charge them like, oh, you've got these 10 questions? Well, I'll do a live podcast. Now you have to subscribe to our members only podcast. Now I've seen some Christian ministries do this. If you want our extra podcast, then you have to become a subscriber, and then we will release special podcasts just for our VIP members, just for our, give me a break. No. I've seen very well-respected ministries do that. That, hey, you can get our weekly podcast for free, but it's an edited version. If you want the whole podcast and you want some other additional content, you have to subscribe to our podcast for $10 a month or $20. Then you're a member, and then we'll send you, all these special podcasts. That is not ministry. That is just a scam. That's a business. No, if you have questions, you send them to me. I've got more than happy to turn on this microphone and answer them to you for free. And I'm not going to put this podcast behind some paywall so you have to pay to get access to the important podcast. The free podcast are for the unimportant people. The people who pay, those are the ones who really matter. Yeah. Okay. You can see I was greatly bothered by it. It's just so, no. All right, I'll stop right there. Thank you for listening to this special live broadcast of the Theology Central podcast. We try to make theology central to everything going on in our world. There's a lot going on in our world. Please, 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 please pay attention to all coronavirus news. Find out what's going on in the area where you live. Take reasonable precautions. Don't panic. Don't buy into conspiracy and hyperbole. Just take precautions, look out for one another, be careful, be considerate of other people. If you think you're sick, then don't expose yourself to other people. Make wise decisions, well-informed decisions, medically based, right information decisions, and be safe, pay attention, and continue to pray that this situation can be brought under control soon, and pray for those who are sick that they would get better, and pray for the families who have lost family members because of the coronavirus. All right. Thank you for listening. Everyone have a great day. God bless.